Like, are you serious? This skill is unmatched. You dig? We're going to the press conference, but I had to talk my real quick.
Stephen A, man, you're a fucking clown, bro. Like, I call it out. I said, man, Stephen A, you're a clown. You couldn't make it in these circles, bro.
I'm a clown? That why your team called me to be a part of your documentary? That's why y'all called me? Because I was a clown? It's your company. You run the show. You executive produced it. How come y'all called me? When you had the boardroom and you were sitting down to interview people one-on-one, didn't you call me to do that interview? By the way, didn't you show up on First Take? Sitting right across from me? A clown. Kevin Durant, can anybody talk about you? I just need to know. I just need clarity. After departing from Oklahoma City, sitting across from me, you said you wanted to play a better brand of basketball. Well, then what was the excuse for leaving to go to Brooklyn? Everybody thinks it's just about Kyrie. It was about Kenny Atkinson being there. It was about you signing off on Steve Nash being the head coach when he had no experience on any level to be a head coach. It was about you making sure that Brooklyn embraced Kyrie because Brooklyn didn't want Kyrie. They wanted you, and you made it clear they were not getting you unless Kyrie arrived. You figure out how I know that. And that was after you told the Knicks you were coming. And then at the 11th hour, you got convinced to roll over to Brooklyn, which might be one of the worst business moves, Mr. 35 Ventures, that we have seen from a basketball superstar in a modern day era. Because when we think about business, the number one name that comes to it when we think about basketball and business is LeBron James.
Okay. In recent news, we got Kevin Durant calling Stephen A. Smith a clown. He is now the most recent current NBA player to call Stephen A. Smith a clown. As you guys can see in today's intro clip, Kenyon Martin once called Stephen A. Smith a clown. So I want to get into this thing with Kevin Durant being the most recent NBA player, calling Stephen A. Smith a clown. As you guys can see right here, here is the quote of Kevin Durant calling Stephen A. Smith a clown. I also have Stephen A. Smith's response, so don't click off the video. So let's read what Kevin Durant had to say about Stephen A. Smith. Kevin Durant fired back at Stephen A. Smith, who has been very critical of Kevin Durant's leadership skills, right? So Kevin Durant is tired of the criticism about his leadership. Tired enough that the Phoenix Suns star clapped back at ESPN personality Stephen A. Smith in an interview with The Athletic that published Sunday. Yeah, Stephen A., I don't understand how people even listen to Stephen A., Durant told The Athletic Saturday night. I've been in the league for 18 years. I've never seen Stephen A. at a practice or a film session or a shoot around. I've never seen him anywhere but on TV talking crap about players. He's a clown to me. He's always been a clown. You can write that too. So that's Kevin Durant calling out Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith caught wind of it, and this is what Stephen A. Smith said.
Having said all of that, respectfully, Kevin Durant, could you stop lying, please? I've been an NBA reporter, and I was a columnist for the Philadelphia Inquirer as well. Kevin Durant has seen me in the locker room when he was at Oklahoma City. He has seen me in the locker room when he was at Golden State. He has certainly seen me at games throughout his career. But unfortunately for him, I don't have to be at shoot around. And I don't have to be in the post-game locker room. I happen to have a hit show that's been #1 for 12 years. I have other things to do with my time. I go to games all the time. I'm not a beat writer anymore. So let's get that out the way. The other thing that I would say is this, respectfully. Kevin Durant is going to have to answer this question. Who's allowed to talk about him? Charles Barkley played this game as a Hall of Famer. He got a Charles Barkley. Shannon Sharpe is a Super Bowl champion, a 3-time Super Bowl champion, and a Hall of Famer. He got at Shannon. He's gotten at players, the C.J. McCollums of the world, the Dennis Schroeders of the world, and others. He's gotten at fans. And oh, by the way, did it discreetly because he had, accounts that didn't reveal who he was, okay? So there's a whole bunch of things. So I don't understand it. It's contemporaries and colleagues. It's former players. It's present players. It's the media. It's the fans. It's whomever. Is anyone allowed to talk about Kevin Durant? But also a player with Kevin Durant's credentials, no matter how insensitive your ass may be, has no business acting like I didn't do some of the things these reporters do. Kevin Durant lied to you. He's never seen me in a locker room. Ever. You've never seen me at a practice, even though practice is closed to the media, until you finish and they come over. Never. You never saw me at games when, for the better part of the last 25 years, I've been at an average of 120 games a year. You ain't seen me? Because those are lies. Those are lies. But again, I understand, because you and your feelings. So we get that out the way. Now let's get to the other parts that you said. I'm a clown. Is that why you called me? Is that why your team called me to be a part of your documentary? When your middle name could have easily been passive when it counted most? And you lose to Golden State. And before people had a chance to pass gas and go on vacation for the summer, you went to Golden State. To the very team that just sent your ass home. Now, I called it the weakest move in the history of the sport by any superstar. Weakest move by a superstar because you were joining forces to stack the deck when it came to you and your own individual self. But the other things they brought up were a question mark. Hell, they even brought up weed. Yes, weed. Now, why would I bring that up? Nobody's diming you out. Nobody's talking about you smoking weed or anything like that. You did. Remember when you did the interview with David Letterman on Netflix? And he brought it up and you said, I might be high right. I'm high right now. And people looking at you and questioning, saying, yo, how committed are you to maximizing all that you can to win a championship? Remember when you did interviews and you talked about how the championship really wasn't that important? Sure, you're going to go out there and you're going to play your hardest and what have you, but really it's not that big of a priority to you. You just want to play the right way and you want to have fun and you want to evolve with the game. Remember, you said all of this. And I didn't even bring up in terms of you getting back to attacking me, what players, what people you've had issues with. Could y'all show the list, please? Just put it right up there for me, please.
Okay, so that's Stephen A. Smith and Kevin Durant addressing each other. Kevin Durant called Stephen A. Smith a clown, and Stephen A. Smith responded live on ESPN First Take of Kevin Durant clown comments, and then he also addressed it later that day on his podcast, The Stephen A. Smith Show. Stephen A. Smith went off on KD, man. A lot of people were saying that Stephen A. cooked Kevin Durant. And in my opinion, I feel like Stephen A. has definitely been holding back at going at Kevin Durant, so I don't understand why KD did call him out. But then again, you know, I guess Stephen A. Smith recently questioned his leadership skills, so Kevin Durant got in his feelings about that. And we all know how Kevin Durant is, man. You know, the last thing we reported on with KD was him going at Keyshawn Johnson at Fox Sports, when Keyshawn Johnson compared Kevin Durant's career to Paul Pierce, and somehow Kevin Durant took offense to that by talking about hypotheticals, and KD said he doesn't like that. And then he started mocking Keyshawn Johnson's NFL career, and then that's when Keyshawn Johnson went on FS1 Undisputed. He went off on his full rant and saying that he will address Kevin Durant to his face if he bumps into KD. KD then responded on Twitter with laughing emojis, just pretty much trolling Keyshawn Johnson, saying that if he did bump into Keyshawn, he wouldn't even acknowledge Keyshawn Johnson, man.
If I put Paul Pierce on the Golden State Warriors with Klay Thompson and Draymond and Steph Curry, you don't think he could do the same shit? I mean, same stuff?
Well, I mean, he was really good, you know, like.
No, but that's my thing is he had the ultimate.
No, he's really good. He was finals MVP.
He can do the same thing. Yeah, I'm going to apologize to him for putting a top 75 player, Hall of Famer MVP in the same breath with him. I'm going to apologize. I'm going to apologize.
Right.
I'm sorry that I put Paul Pierce, his name, aligned with his name. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And maybe the Jets should have drafted one of those guys. But guess what? They didn't. They drafted me. But maybe they should have. And I could have gone to the Dallas Cowboys and played along Michael and Alvin Harper and Emmitt Smith and Nate Newton and the late Larry Allen and Troy Aikman and Deion Sanders and Charles Haley and Darren Woodson and Kevin Smith.
You got him.
And I might have multiple rings because I joined a team that was already rolling. Real facts, real talk.
Man.
Let's get down to the meat and potato of all this, though. At the end of the day, he says he doesn't like hypotheticals. Okay, I understand. I think somebody gave him a clip and he reacted on it.
Well, obviously he's in Paris. So
Thank you.
through the time change.
So the people that gave the lame ass people that gave you that clip and that you
Didn't see
talked
the other
to,
parts.
they should give you all information.
Right.
Because I ain't never had a bone to pick with Kevin Durant. We different.
You have not.
And we so different that ain't even funny. Because I'm not sitting around having burner phones worrying about what people talking about. I'm not worried about that. That's the least of my worry as a player.
Yeah.
I could care less about accolades because I'm not chasing ghosts at the end of the day. I'm not Shaq. I'm not Charles Barkley. I'm not Stephen A. I'm not getting ready to go to Twitter wars with you. I'm not doing it. I'm just going to say what I got to say. And at the end of the day, he feels a certain way about an opinion.
Yep.
And I'm fine with that. If you think the Jets they should have took him. They didn't know. And I didn't join a 73-win team. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, I'm a Kevin Durant fan. He's one of my favorite players. He's going to always be one of my favorite players. And when I see him on the streets, homie, I'm going to still embrace him. Huh?
He goes, oh, homie?
Oh, homie, yeah. I'm a homie. He's a homie to me. I'm going to embrace him, Skip.
So again, man, KD is always in the news, going back and forth with somebody on Twitter or whatever social media platform he's on. KD is definitely one of those guys that's just really obsessed with everything surrounding his name, man. So y'all get in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your thoughts about today's video. Don't forget to hit that like button if you made this far in the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. Catch you guys on the next one, and we out, guys. Peace.